Hey guys, this is Jaspir again. This is our second video on core Java. What we are going to discuss is in this video is what is Java, when and who invented it. We are going to discuss features of Java, and then we are going to discuss what is object-oriented concept is. Now, what is Java? So Java, as we know, it's a programming language. It is very fast, very secure, and very reliable language. And one very important feature, it follows Vora concept. So Vora is write once, run anywhere. So for right now, I think this definition is more than enough to understand what actually Java is. Now, in 1991, James at Sun Microsystem developed Java, and after 4 years, in 1995, it was released to the public. Now, let us quickly discuss what are the features of Java. First feature is Java is very simple. So when we say simple, what's that mean actually? Simple means if you already know a little bit about programming language, or if you are coming actually from C++ background, it's going to be very easy for you to learn Java. It's very simple basically to learn it. Second feature we already know about, it's a platform independent language. Third feature is object-oriented language. We will discuss that in next few slides. The fourth one is robust. Java is very robust language. What that mean is that Java is able to execute very reliably in variety of different systems. It's very strictly typed language. It checks your code basically at a compile time also, as well as it checks at a runtime also. Now, I think, so once we write actually, let us say some code, and we know that it is going to run in a predictable way under different diverse conditions, that particular feature is a key feature of Java, and that I will say that is very important feature basically which is provided by Java. The major reason that most of the programs fail are two. One is how you're going to do the memory management, and second is how to handle basically runtime errors. Java, it virtually eliminates these problems by automatically doing allocation and deallocation of memory. Second is Java provides object-oriented exception handling. So let us say that there is one code basically which is a division by 0, or let us say that you are trying to access a file which is not actually there. So Java is able to handle those type of exceptions in a very brilliant manner. So that all these features, they make Java very robust language. The next feature is portable. Java is very portable. We discussed that actually in our chapter 1 also. Another one is very secured. In next couple of videos, we will understand actually in a much better way that when we say that Java is very secure language, what's actually that means. Another one is distributed. Now, we know that Java is designed actually for internet. And when we say internet, it's actually a distributed environment. And it handles basically TCP/IP protocol. So in Java, if you are accessing a resource using URL, that is not much different than accessing a file. There is not much difference. And Java also supports RMI, which is basically stands for remote method invocation. So for right now, just remember that Java supports RMI. Now the next one is interpreted and high performance. Remember we discussed in our video 1 that once we write our source code, then that source code, once it gets compiled, it is converted actually into an object code. And now our JVM, internally, JVM process that bytecode as an interpreter, and it interprets very quickly so it gives us very high performance. The next feature of Java is it's a multi-threaded language. So for right now, just understand that, let us say that at same time it is able to read actually from a file, and in parallel it is able to send some data to the printer so that printer can print that particular information. So it is basically in parallel multiple threads it can actually use. Another one is that Java is very dynamic language. What that mean is that Java program, they carry with them substantial amount of runtime information, and that information can be used to verify and resolve access to objects at runtime. So whenever object needs some information, most Java carries a lot of information basically at runtime. So it gives again a performance boost basically, and that is basically the feature of Java, that it's very dynamic. Now let us discuss object-oriented concept. Again, we will not go into in depth of object-oriented concept as of right now, because all these concepts will be clear once we will write programs and once we will execute them. Then it will be crystal clear that when we say that Java follows encapsulation, or there is an inheritance in Java, or there is a polymorphism. So these are basically object-oriented concepts. Now let us quickly look at high level what's that mean actually. Now encapsulation, as name suggests, encapsule means it binds together data and the code, and it keeps them safe from outside interference or any type of misuse. So for right now, just remember this much, and once we will execute and once we will write programs where we will use actually encapsulation, it will be crystal clear to you that what is actually encapsulation mean. Next is inheritance. Again, as name suggests, inherit. Inherit means that one object is acquiring properties of another object. So we have so there is one parent class, and then there is a child class. Child class will inherit actually the properties of the parent object. So for right now, this much definition is more than enough. Once again, once we will write programs and once we will execute them, then it will be more clear to us. Then the third one is polymorphism. As the name suggests, poly means many. So an object, it can take many different forms. And if you read actually basically the second statement, it says a reference variable to change behavior according to what object instance it is holding. So for right now, again, I will say that for right now, just try to remember only this much, that polymorphism means that if you look at the diagram over here, there is one method speak. And now there are three different implementation of that method. Maybe it's hard to follow me as of right now, but basically what happen is, according to whatever object instance that particular reference variable will hold, it will invoke that particular method body. So before I make it more confusing, just remember that polymorphism is the ability of a reference variable to change behavior according to the whatever object instance it is holding. Okay, so we will discuss that once we will write programs. It will be crystal clear to you that what is actually polymorphism mean. Now, I think this is the time that we should start writing a couple of programs. Then only it will be more clear that whatever we discussed so far, what is actually that means. So in the next chapter, what we are going to do is, I will show you how to install Java IDE, where we are going to write and where we are going to execute those Java programs. So let us look at the third video, how to install a Java IDE. I'm going to use Eclipse over here. So I will show you how to install Eclipse and how to write and how to execute, how to run those programs in Eclipse. Let us look at video number 3.